J-E-T-S! Let's go!
Quick pass to Garrett Wilson. Touchdown! What a throw! Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson.
J-E-T-S!
Let's get it! Wow! Jet Stadium. Aaron Rodgers is home, baby. Jets media, I love you all.
Recall! It's gone!
Ready to take flight with the Jets, baby. Let's go! Woo! We are live, and we have a special guest today on Jets Media, a long-awaited guest, long overdue. We got the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who is the rising star in the Jets and NFL community. You guys know him extremely well. Welcome to the show, Mr. Connor Long. Connor, welcome, my man. How you doing?
Richie, I really appreciate you having me. It means a lot. Really appreciate it. Like you said, long overdue. We've never done this before, so really excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you on. I'll never forget when you first called into my show last year when Jack and I were doing the podcast, and you just came on and just asked us a question, and me and Jack were looking at each other. We're like, who is this? So we're excited to have you. I'm excited to have you on Jets Media. It is long overdue, and we're really excited. And look what the hat you're wearing. You represent Roundtable Sports already with the Rodgers Wilson campaign hat. So we'd love to have you on, Connor, to get your thoughts. Folks, Connor just hit 1,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, so I want to congratulate you, Connor, number one. If you guys want to do Connor a favor, simply click the link down below in the description of this video and go subscribe to NY Flight Jets Talk. That is down below in the description, and shoot him a follow over there on Twitter at NY Flight Jets. So, Connor, before we get into all things Jets, all things, what's it like being a Jets YouTuber? What's it like being a content creator? I know that you're a writer for Jet X Factor as well. So why don't you just give me a rundown of what this whole year has been like? I heard the call-in that you did for Rich Eisen. You had Adam Schefter. I can't keep up with you, Connor.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, I started towards the end of last year. I started in January, right before the Jets played the Patriots. So this is really my first full off season, and really my first full season as I joined towards the end of last year. But it's great. Obviously the fans are the best part. I mean, these are the best listeners you'll ever find. The Jets fan base is the greatest fan base you will ever find. It's just it's awesome, and so happy to be here. Like I said, like you mentioned, Jet X Factor writer. I've been writing there, kind of working on the writing as well. So yeah, anything Jets, I absolutely love. I mean, there's Jets talk happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Absolutely love it.
Yes, and we're glad to have you a part of it, man. So congratulations on your rise and continue the grind, man. I'm really excited to see you continuously grow into the star that you already are. Jet it out with a $5 super chat. Richie, thanks for jumping TD about taking shots. When you was gone, you got to get Colby also. Jet up, baby. Jet it out. Thank you for the $5 super chat. So, Connor, I don't know if you watched the latest episode of the AFC East Roundtable. You did. I wasn't there for the first hour of the show. And apparently, I had to rewatch it, Connor. And Nate just the whole time was taking shots at our Jets, and not only just the Jets, Connor, but us as a fan base. And they had the nerve that they had today. They said that when I was gone. That's why they were talking about it, Connor. They knew I was not on the show to ground them. What were your thoughts of what they had to say? Because they were calling out the Jets fans, calling Rodgers washed. Colby said our weakness is the offensive line. Like, what were they saying?
Yeah, that was. I want to start off with Colby there. I know you joined kind of right as they were going back to it, and then you joined, and you were like, the offensive line. I mean, yeah, you mentioned no team has a first round pick as a backup. No team has a first round pick as a backup. So, Colby could say all he wants about the offensive line. This is great for Jet fans. We have 3 new starters on this terrible offensive line from last year. So I think the offensive line's great, but I mean, TD Finstock is going to take shots at the Jets no matter what you say. And he won't admit he is scared of the Jets. All I have to say is Mark Sanchez has won more playoff games in the first 2 years of his career than the Dolphins have since Bill Clinton was president. So take that, TD.
Whoa, Connor taking shots at TD Finstock. I can't wait to show him that. Oh, boy. I absolutely love it. You're built for Roundtable Sports already, man. You really are. That's what it's all about. Barney comes in with a $2 super chat. If you ain't got haters, you ain't popping. Quoting the head coach, Robert Saleh. That is true. Everybody is scared of the Jets, and we got haters all over the place. So, folks, don't forget to simply hit the like button on your way into the show. And don't just subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Connor's channel. That is down below in the description. We have a question from Dane. What's your absolute hottest take? All right, I'm putting you on the spot, Connor. Hottest take for the New York Jets this upcoming season?
I gave one earlier, and I'm gonna stand by it. Brandon Codrington is gonna make the roster and be a top 10 kick returner in the league this year. That is my hot take.
So you think he's gonna start over Gibson?
I think he's gonna be one of the two back there for the kick returns. Because what he's shown, this just the 63-yard attempt. Obviously, he has performance pending tomorrow, but I mean, just from that game last week, if you put him on waivers, he's not making passes. I mean, he's such an electric player. I love Codrington, and I think he can be a top 10 kick returner in the league.
Wow, that is a hot take, and I'm all for it. That's what hot takes are about. My hot take, man, I've been saying, it's not really that hot of a take, but I'm going to continuously say Garrett Wilson is going to have a CeeDee Lamb type of season. And if you guys don't know what CeeDee Lamb did last year, just go remind yourselves and go look at his stats. That is what I'm predicting from Garrett Wilson, because what I see from Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson in practice, and I think that, and this is no disrespect to the playmakers around Garrett Wilson from a wide receiver standpoint, but I just think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball to Garrett Wilson so much. The volume is going to be ridiculous. So that is my hot take. And if you don't know what CeeDee Lamb did last year, 135 receptions, 18 plus 100 yards, double-digit touchdowns. So that's my hot take. It's a hot take for a reason, Connor. It's a hot take for a reason.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a chance that happens. I mean, we saw that 70-yard bomb that Aaron Rodgers threw to Garrett Wilson in the joint practice against the Giants. I was actually there to see it. It was a great throw. I think honestly, there's a chance that Garrett Wilson has a type Brandon Marshall 2015 year where I think he has a chance to break every record in Jets history this season. The thing is, I think the only thing that stops him is we've seen Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he likes to throw to his wide receiver one, but at the same time, he likes to spread the ball out through the offense. So I think that might be the only thing that stops Wilson from breaking every single wide receiver single season record.
Agreed. Well said, Connor. Mr. D with a $10 super chat. Everybody give my man Mr. D some dono hype in the chat. Thank you, Mr. D. Great supporter of Jets media for years now. Two things that I don't like about the Jets organization. They got rid of Rice, homegrown, cash and created. The second ownership supports. Otherwise, go Jets. We're going to keep politics out of here, Mr. D. But thank you so much for the $10 super chat, Mr. D. We really do appreciate it, my man. $10 super chat. Everybody give my man, Mr. D, some dono hype in the chat. I like to stay away from those things, Connor.
Yep,
that's something I'd recommend in your show. Now, Nebraska Jets fan, this is what I love to see. Jermaine Johnson is going to go nuclear. This is a player that I think showed up. Oh, look who it is. Wow, dope hat.
Thank you, TD. I appreciate it. I'm glad we can agree on something here.
So, TD, I'm going to need you to rewind a little bit because Connor just had something to say to you. So I think he's just tuning in now. He did not see what you had to say earlier. Connor, by the way, TD, if you're just tuning in, he's a great supporter of Roundtable Sports. He also has the T-shirt on Roundtable Sports, the Rodgers Wilson campaign. And he had something to say to you, TD. He had something to say to you. So why don't you rewind, watch what Connor had to say, and then get back to us. All right, and then get back to us, okay? Because it was really awesome to see Connor take some shots. And if you guys don't know what exactly Connor is supporting right here, I gotta pull up the pull up this right here, Rodgers Wilson. I gotta show you because we have campaign merch on Roundtable Sports. I have it as well. I got. Where's my? I'll wear it. You know what, Connor? We're gonna match. What are we doing?
There we go.
I got the T-shirt too. Folks, if you want to get your Rodgers and Wilson campaign merch, that is live. This is the politics that I like to talk about, okay? For being honest with ourselves. This is what it's all about. Rodgers and Wilson merch is live. I'm going to put it in the description right here. Represent what Connor's repping, what I'm repping. That is at the top of the chat, folks. If you want to get some Roundtable Sports merch, this is what Connor is supporting. We got the hat, we got a hoodie, we got a crew neck, we got all things Rodgers and Wilson trucker hat. That's what Connor and I are rocking right now. Let's go.
Yep, there we go.
Absolutely love it. Mutt Files, boys, the season is close and I love it. Richie, I'll see you at Jets Media Day. Let's go. I got a draft tonight, PPR 8-man league, 7th pick. Who should I take? Go Jets. Garrett Wilson. Just don't think about it. Just don't. Brees will be gone, but
it's if you're playing with non-Jet fans, maybe they'll underestimate Brees like most fans do to Jet player. But if Brees is there, you got 1,000% take him. Garrett's a good pick. I think AJ Brown, 8-man league, it might be a little different, but AJ Brown I think is someone to watch. Yeah, seven out 8 teams is fun because you could always get like really good players later on in the draft.
Yeah, especially if it's an 8-man league, you have the 7th pick. You have a pick right after that. So just get Garrett and then take who you think should be getting after that. Mutt Biles. I mean, I also lose every year in fantasy because I pick Jets too early. But this is the year where they'll win it for us. Mr. D with a $100 super chat. Mr. D, you're way too generous. You do not have to do this. I do apologize about that. It's okay, Mr. D. You did not have to send this $100 apology. I do appreciate all you guys do for the Jets. I'll only watch you guys for Jets content. Love it. Keep up the good work. And yo, Richie, please continue to play Madden with us with the Jets. I love your last game. Go Jets. Yes, I got to find time when the Madden first came out. I don't know if you saw that video, Connor, but I made a video and I dominated. Yeah. And it ended up being somebody, it was a girl playing, it was her first game ever playing Madden, and I kind of felt bad for putting 41 on her. But yeah, I gotta play more Madden. I have some people that like to watch me play Madden with the New York Jets. It's just a matter of if I can find time, because time is of the essence with Roundtable Sports these days.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I saw the title, but I definitely have to go back and watch that. And Mr. D, appreciate the 100 spot there.
Wow, 100 spot for Mr. D. You did not have to do that, my man. Really do appreciate it. Mr. D has been loyal to Jets media for Mr. D, tell me how long it's been, because it feels like you've been here since the beginning, and I can't thank you enough. Joe with the $10, but he has nothing to say. Joe, if you want to have a comment, just send it in and I'll respond to it. Joe, thank you so much. Joe Schmidt with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Joe. I really do appreciate the super chat, my man. And the cool thing about YouTube now is you can give love to these super chats by liking the super chat. You can comment on a super chat. So everybody give some love. Uh-oh, TD saw what you said. He said, Mark Sanchez, not going to lie, I have no comeback. You got him, Connor. TD has no comeback.
Could be done. I didn't know that could be done. I did not know TD would not come up with a comeback. Maybe it would be the Jets are bad. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. I'm surprised we didn't get hit with one of those.
Well, we're actually launching a new show on AFC's Roundtable. It's a hotline show, and I think I'm going to give you the link for it because I want you to come on the AFC East Roundtable and ground TD live. And we'll see if TD has something to say, because I have a feeling that you'll put him in his place and he will have nothing to say, just like this. Just like this. You hear that, folks? So. Connor, you're 12 years old? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I just turned 13 in July.
You just turned 13. You're 13 years old. Well, happy belated birthday, my man.
Thank
you're doing
you.
a great job.
All
right. Well, let's get into some Jets talk, guys. Don't forget to like the show. And if you did not already, please subscribe to Mr. Connor's YouTube channel down below in the description. So we have the Jets-Giants game tomorrow. The title of the video is Players to Watch. So what are some players, Connor, that you're looking forward to watch? Obviously, we heard that the starters are not playing. No Aaron Rodgers, no starting offensive players at all. Number one, do you think that's the correct decision from coach to not play the starters? And number two, what players are you looking forward to watch tomorrow night?
Well, I'll start off with the starters one there. I understand the move. Personally, I wanted to see the ones for at least a series or two. But again, a thing that I wanted to keep an eye on is I didn't want to have the Jets ones going against the Giants threes, where it's a point, you have defensive linemen that are not going to be on NFL rosters in a week or so, and they're trying to make a statement. Rodgers throws the ball, someone takes 10 steps like Jahad Ward and then shoves him, and Rodgers gets re-injured, or, something. I definitely understand the move there. Saleh probably, if that happens, there's a chance that Saleh does not have a job next year. So I definitely understand the move. Like I said, I personally would have liked to see them for a series or two. But in terms of players to watch, I think it's Izzy Abanikanda. He had a good game last game, good solid first game. The thing is, I'm a fan of Izzy. I just don't think they're going to carry 4 running backs, and they sent a statement to him by drafting both Davis and Allen. So I think he's off the roster, but still he's probably a practice squad guy, but still a pretty critical game for him. The undrafted free agents, Braden McGregor, Eric Watts, Leonard Taylor, I definitely think those are guys to watch. I think Taylor has a really solid chance of making the roster because you have the front 4 locked in: Quinnen, Solly, Kinlaw, Fotu, and then after that, it's Tanzel Smart, Bruce Hector, and really him competing for that job. I think there's a chance he makes the roster, but definitely a critical game. Braden McGregor, Tack McKinley, Eric Watts. All three of those guys are fighting for a spot on the Jets depth chart. But when all's said and done, obviously you have these players to watch. But when it comes down to who the Jets are actually going to select to put on their roster, I think these are guys they don't want exposed to the waiver wire. For example, maybe they really like Jason Brownlee, but they think if they put Irv Charles on the practice squad, someone's going to pick him up right away. So maybe they practice squad a guy like Brownlee, put a guy like Charles on the roster. So it's going to be really interesting with cut down day coming up, see what the Jets do.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a laundry list of players that to look out for tomorrow night that are trying to fight for this final 53-man roster, and I'm happy you mentioned the undrafted free agents on this defensive line, and McGregor, Watts, and Taylor. That's the unit I'm looking forward to seeing the most because they're going to have to make some hard cuts. TD Finstall comes back, says, yeah, come on the round table. We need a Connor intervention, save his life, and make him a Dolphins fan. That'll never happen, TD. That would never happen. Connor had a decision to make about if he's a Jets fan, and he made his decision finally.
Yep.
After we got blown out, I believe. It was that Raiders game, actually. That not blown out. I heard your call on the Rich Eisen show.
Yes, it was. That was definitely a tough game, but yes, I made my decision. There's no turning back now. That was a crucial day in my life. I'll say that for sure.
No turning back, man. I've been a Jets fan since I was your age. So, and I've seen nothing. No playoffs for me since then, and you haven't seen anything in your entire life, which is sad, but it's okay, Connor. The time is now for these New York Jets. Sean with a $10 super chat, a great member and a great supporter of the New York Jets media YouTube channel here. Sean, thank you so much. Jets have no weak spots on paper, and you have TD's Tua. Deranged syndrome. Tua is the Finns' weakness. He is going to choke like he always does. Jets, Jets. What's your thoughts of Tua, Connor? What's your overall analysis? Are you scared of Tua? Does he spark fear in you?
He doesn't scare me. I mean, he can't win against good teams. I think that's pretty clear. It doesn't necessarily scare me. I'm more scared of Josh Allen than I am Tua, if I'm being completely honest. The thing that scares me, though, with the Dolphins, really their defense scared me up until this year when they lost Christian Wilkins and that whole boatload of guys. But the wide receiver core between Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and now adding OBJ, I think that's probably the strongest part of the Dolphins roster. But no, Tua does not scare me. I'm more scared of Josh Allen and the Bills than I am Tua and the Dolphins.
Now, TD's in his delusion that Josh Allen is worse than Tua.
No.
Is that true?
No, I mean, Josh Allen's shown that he's able to produce at a high level. Yes, I understand they've choked these past few AFC championship games, but they're against the Chiefs. Josh Allen has been able to lead a team that far. And yes, I understand, like I said, they've lost to the Chiefs these past few seasons. But again, Tua hasn't been able to do that. Tua chokes in, high pressure situations. That's what I have to say.
Yes, absolutely. TD comes back, says, real talk, Connor, keep grinding. Your content is fire. You'll be at the top of the game soon, bro. 100% respect. See you later, bro. I'll be here to help when you guys go 6-11.
You say Aaron Rodgers is going to do one win worse than Zach Wilson did? Is that what you're saying, TD? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I'm seeing there.
TD, I'm going to have to make a t-shirt, Mr. Flip-Flopping TD, because one day TD says Jets win in multiple game, double digit, and then he goes back to 6 because he realizes like, oh, you know what? That's not going to happen. The Jets are the Jets. So he just can't accept his own faith. So TD, we appreciate you watching and appreciate your support for Connor, but we don't appreciate your support for our Jets, man. Come on. Stay off my channel now. I'm going to kick him out. I'm going to kick him out of this show, okay? Because I got to deal with him in 40 minutes on the huddle already, so I don't want to deal with him enough on this show. So we talked about a little bit, and he puts the broom in the chat. We're sweeping the Dolphins, TD, okay? I already made that take, and I'm going to stand on it. The brooms are coming out against the Dolphins this year. So we talked about, you mentioned something that Izzy may not make this roster. Now, my thing with that personally is the Jets under Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, they have kept 4 running backs every year. And I think it'll be hard for them to make that decision because, listen, we don't have Nick Bowden this year. Usually he's another guy that clogs up the running back / tight end fullback position. Do you think Izzy's a guaranteed cut, or do you think that there's a room here where he's gone and they have to prioritize other positions because they usually go with 10 defensive linemen, which is deep. They have to keep, a lot of defensive backs. They have to keep a guy that like a Cotterington or Irv Charles for special teams. So do you think Izzy's a guaranteed cut, or do you think the Jets roll with 4 running backs and he's just the 4th guy in the depth chart behind Davis, Allen, and Brees?
I definitely don't think he's a guaranteed cut. And I'll say this: the reason I think they carried 4 running backs last year is the Jets never like to not put rookies on their roster. So I think that's why. Obviously, we didn't see him a lot. I think he, very minimal amount of snaps last season. Like even when you see guys like Michael Carter get traded, there still wasn't even an upkeep in his snaps. I think he has lightning speed. I think that's something that'll help him for sure. Like I said, I wouldn't say he's a guaranteed cut, but I definitely think the odds are stacked against him right now. And you mentioned the Irv Charles, Brandon Codrington, Nick Bodden thing. The Jets haven't had the possibility of 2 players being special teams only. Like obviously we saw Irv Charles kind of come up and down last year along with Hardy, but there's a chance that Irv Charles is the Jets gunner and Brandon Codrington is their kick returner. We haven't really seen that in a long time where you have, 2 main guys on special teams who really don't contribute on the offensive side of the ball. I definitely think it's something to watch, along with the fact if Codrington were to make the roster and JBC's back for week 1, you'd have to carry 7 quarterbacks. It would be if technically, obviously Codrington wouldn't play, but 7 because you have the trio. Then you have Eccles, Stiggers, JBC, and then Codrington would be the 7th. So it's like, are the Jets willing to do that? Honestly, I'd take Codrington over Izzy just because of his contribution on special teams.
Yeah, exactly. And also, this is our first year without Justin Hardy. So Justin Hardy never plays corner. He's a core special teamer. So there's an open roster spot to replace Hardy as well because we're looking for that. So that's a very interesting debate here. There's always a debate heading into this time of the season of the 53-man roster that needs to get cut down. So it's going to be a lot of tough decisions from Joe Douglas, but hey, this is a good problem to have. Very good problem to have. All right. JT
Absolutely.
says, is that a JJ jersey? What jersey are you rocking?
JJ, it sure is. It sure is a JJ. But I do have, I have a unique one. I have a Tony Adams jersey. I will.
No way. That's my guy,
Yeah,
Tony Adams.
Yeah, I will bust that out sometime soon. I've worn it on my shows, but don't worry, Tony Adams jersey will be coming back sometime soon.
Wow, you have a Tony Adams jersey. I mean, listen, I made this tweet yesterday that I also want to ask everybody in the chat their thoughts of this question I posed on my Twitter account. Here it is. So, name one player you feel like will take the biggest leap on the New York Jets this season, okay? My pick was Tony Adams, and I'm kind of jealous you have a jersey. I kind of want a Tony Adams jersey now. So, a lot of Jets fans had a lot of interesting things. Someone said Xavier Gibson, Joe Tippmann, Will McDonald, Stiggers. So, if there's one player besides Tony Adams, sorry if I stole your answer, that will take the biggest leap this season, who will it be?
Well, I saw the rookies down there. Corley, I saw Corley. I saw Stiggers. I don't think you could really pick a rookie because there's no sample size from them in the NFL, so that's tough. I'm gonna go with Xavier Gibson. We saw flashes from him as the season went on in terms of the slot receiving. Obviously, there's going to be a massive upkeep because he's in line to potentially be the Jets' starting slot receiver in 2024. I think Gibson has potential to take that leap. You could hate on him all you want because of his size, whatever. He's 5'9". I don't care. He's going to be great in the slot for the Jets this year, and that's who I see taking the biggest leap.
Who do you got on defense?
Defense, Jamie and Sherwood. I'm going to go with Jamie
Nice.
and Sherwood. The small sample size we've seen from him, I've seemed to really like it. I want to see an increased role from him. I think there's a chance that he's really linebacker 3 for the Jets this year, and I really want to see that and, what he can do with all those snaps.
Yeah, Jamie Sherwood is my guy. To watch him develop has been a joy because he's been not sitting, but he's been right behind CJ and Quincy. He's the 3rd linebacker. I remember last year, Jets fans were crying about not bringing back Quan Alexander. And I'm like, guys, we don't need Quan. We have Jamie Sherwood. He is a guy that's been developing, who was transitioned from safety to linebacker when he was drafted. And Robert Saleh got his hands on him. And then we have another guy in the reins of Zaire Barnes. So if the Jets know how to develop a position, it's linebacker. So I think Jamie Sherwood is ready to go. He plays fast. Every time I've been to training camp this year, he's been impressive. He's clicking. His mentality is there. His demeanor. He's also, you can say, the best linebacker on the Jets from a coverage perspective. So I think that Jamie Sherwood has a chance to be on the field a lot this year if they go in a lot of 4-3 base. You either have Michael Carter II on the field in dime looks, or if you take Carter off the field, it's going to be Sherwood. So I think that Jamie Sherwood has a chance to be a really impactful player. Mr. D with another super chat. You're too nice. Tyler Conklin will take the biggest leap this year. Okay, I like this answer. Tyler Conklin, the Jets tight end. You got Conk, and you got Ruckert. What are your thoughts of this Jets tight end room? Do you think Conklin will have a career season from his perspective?
Well, I think Conklin is one of the most underrated tight ends in football. He's coming off of a career year, 575 something yards. I think it was playing with Zach Wilson. And Aaron Rodgers has always loved to use his tight ends throughout his career. I make the joke all the time. He made Robert Tonyan look like a Hall of Fame level tight end for 12 weeks. So if you pair him with Tyler Conklin, who I think is one of the highest contested catch rates among tight ends in the league. I mean, he is exceptionally talented at coming down and grabbing those jump balls. Yeah, I think Conklin's in for a big year, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Ruckert could do, given that he's in line to be the tight end too.
I think the tight end position can finally be unlocked. I feel like Conklin even last year was impressive to me, looking at his numbers.
Yes.
I mean, he did not find the end zone, but he's a guy that is just. I remember that Broncos game. Was that the Broncos game last year when he just caught that ball and dragged defenders down the field? He just has sure hands. He has a great 50-50 ball, and I feel like his potential hasn't been unlocked yet because of the quarterback position. So I have high expectations from Conklin. I don't really see him being a top 10 tight end at all this year from a fantasy perspective, but from a guy that's going to be reliable when you need to, have a little stick nod, it's third and short, you got to get open, find the soft spot in the zone. I think Conklin can do enough to get the job done. Now, Sean with the super chat, another one. Do I wear my Hall or A-Rod or Sauce week 1? I think it's got to be A-Rod, man. It's Aaron Rodgers for me.
Depends. Which jersey? If you wore Aaron Rodgers last year for week 1, don't wear it. Whatever you wore for week 1 last year, don't wear it. Choose the other two. But yeah, I mean, all three are good options. A-Rod week 1, running it back on Monday Night Football. Breece Hall had over 1,500 yards from scrimmage last year, and then Sauce Gardner, 2-time All-Pro. You can't go wrong with any of those choices there.
You can't go wrong either. I mean, the active Jets I have of jerseys, and notice how I said active because boy, Connor, do I have jerseys that I just regret. But you got Aaron Rodgers, I got Sauce, I got Breece and Garrett. So those are my jerseys. And a Quincy Williams. I did get a Quincy Williams jersey, which I'm very proud of. So very excited stuff there. Now, there is a guy on offense. Oh, before that, we have another super chat. Marco. Very generous, Marco. Appreciate you, bro. Not everyone is going to have a career year. Rodgers feeds his number one guy usually, despite what he says publicly, and mostly hits his tight ends in the goal line sets. I appreciate you, Marco, for the $5. And this was actually a perfect segue into what I was about to ask Connor, because there is one specific player on this Jets offense that I think Jets fans hate, and I think that he has a chance to kind of have a resurgence, and that's Allen Lazard. And, Rodgers talked about in his press conference. Let's be honest. Lazard was I don't even know what word to use, Connor, of a disappointment last season. And now Aaron Rodgers kind of feels like he's sparking more confidence in him. He's getting more physical in the run game. He's going to be that guy in the slot, apparently, over the middle of the field. So I think Lazard has a chance to I don't see him having a career year. I don't see him breaking out. But I think that he is going to come through more than he did last year. And that's not saying a lot. That's how bad he was last season. But what's your thoughts of Allen Lazard this season? And Marco, again, thank you for the $5.
I think a lot of it depends if we could keep 8 upright. Depends how many games. Hopefully 8 plays all 17 games. But Lazard, we've seen him. He's had great production with Rodgers. But, I wouldn't classify him as quarterback proof. I'd classify Garrett Wilson as quarterback proof. First Jet to surpass 1,000 yards in his first 2 seasons. Not to mention he played with 6 quarterbacks over that span. Allen Lazard had a terrible year playing with, obviously played with Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian. Garrett Wilson had 1,000 yards with those guys. So I think a lot of it depends with, Rodgers' health. I will say I went to two training camp practices. He looked fine in both, except the Jets-Giants joint practice. He had a terrible drop. I mean, the ball was right in his chest, went right through his hands. It's a terrible drop there. But, like I said, a lot of it depends on 8's health. But I definitely think you can only go up from last year. I'll say that.
And what's your expectations from the wide receiver position around that? Mike Williams is I feel like none of us Jets fans even know Mike Williams on the team just because he hasn't practiced.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, wait, Mike Williams is a Jet, right? We're excited about Garrett. Oh, we got a rookie Malachi. Let's see what he looks like. Okay, Lazard, maybe he's going to be better than last year with a healthy Rodgers. Oh, we got Gibson, who's young. We got Mike Will, folks. I don't know what to expect from Mike Williams. What do you expect from him this year?
Yeah, obviously an ACL tear is a gruesome injury and suffered it in week 3. You got to hope he's back for week 1. I'd be lying if I said I felt really confident in this Jets wide receiver room because I think, you have Garrett Wilson. Even Mike Williams is a bit of a question mark, like I mentioned, due to that ACL injury. But after him, it's like, is Xavier Gibson ready to step into starting slot receiver role after we saw, a small sample size of him last year? Malachi Corley, he's a rookie. He's unproven. Allen Lazard, we saw him last year. You just got to hope he could go up from there. And then after that, you have Brownlee, who's I thought had an uneventful rookie year. He had that touchdown against the Commanders, but pretty uneventful. And then Irv Charles is basically a gunner only. So, I'd be lying if I said I felt really confident. I think this is like a top 15, I'd say about an average receiver core.
Yeah, and then led by Garrett, who could absolutely take it over and make that wide receiver room that much better. Now, talk about these running backs, Connor, because that's one position on offense that I think, like, my favorite part about our running back room is the entire NFL is upset with the Jets because apparently we are hoarding the running back position. There's Cowboys fans like, shame on you, Jets. We need a running back, and you have like 4 of them we want. They wanted Braylon Allen. They wanted Isaiah Davis. They want Izzy. They're like, can you cut Izzy for us? And I'm like, you know what? Now I don't want to cut Izzy if you want him that much. So, Kenny on Facebook says, sweet caps. Kenny, appreciate it. Roundtablesports.shop if you want to go get yours today. We also have T-shirts. The Rodgers and Wilson campaign merch is live right now, folks. It's right here. This is the site to get. Connor was nice enough to go support it. Rodgers Wilson 2024. We got a T-shirt. Rodgers or Wilson. You can get it in black, get it in ash, but my favorite is the white. Personally. So definitely go check it out. Rodgers Wilson 2024 merch is out, baby. Make that the best campaign merch out there. So the running back position is fun because when I tweeted out the Braylon Allen runs in week 1 of the preseason, that tweet went viral on Cowboys Twitter or something because they're like, how do we not draft Braylon Allen? Everyone's upset. So what's your expectations in the depth of this running back room led by the workhorse and the potential superstar breaking out in Breece Hall?
Well, I don't think I even need to talk about Brees Hall. I mean, the guy had 1,500 yards from scrimmage last year. Great on the ground and receiving the ball out of the backfield as well. I like Allen. I think he runs angry. I compare him a little to Brendan Jacobs from the Giants days. He runs angry. He's a big body. I think the most promising thing we've seen from Allen, though, are the reports saying he's been catching the ball out of the backfield. He struggled there in college. I think it was 278 yards and no touchdowns throughout the 4-year span he played at Wisconsin. I know everyone's talking about Braylon Allen, but how about Isaiah Davis? I mean, he did have a fumble in the green and white scrimmage, but what we've seen from him returning punts, kicks, and just production in the offense from the first 2 preseason games, I know everyone's going to want to talk about Allen, but I mean, I think you got to consider Isaiah Davis a bit. I mean, this guy is a beast.
And that little pass that he brought in week 1 on 3rd and 12, that showed off his hands. They'll burst as well. In week 2, he started off the game, remember, and he had really good runs. So I'm excited to see him tomorrow. He kind of feels like another version of Michael Carter, but just like shiftier. And like he's just a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And I feel like he's the forgotten piece of the running back room that people should start being excited about because obviously we're excited about Breece. Braylon Allen is like this brute. We're like, wait, we got the next generation of Derrick Henry. We're excited. Potentially. I don't want to get ahead of myself. And then there's Isaiah Davis. Like there's depth there. So it's so fun like that we are the team that people around the NFL are upset about because like everyone is like, oh, bro, Braylon Allen could be a workhorse on another team, but he's got to sit behind Breece. Come on, Jets. That's not fair. Does that feel good?
Yeah, normally it's the other way around. Normally, like, oh my God, why couldn't we have this healthy of an offensive line? Why couldn't we have this, great of a quarterback? We have Aaron Rodgers, and we have 3 new starters on the offensive line with a first-round pick being the Jets' 6th man. So it's like it's good to feel on the to be on the other end of that argument.
My good friend James, this is a good friend of mine.
Nice.
This kid Connor is an absolute legend. He needs his own show on Roundtable Sports.
Appreciate it, James.
James. I mean, you never know. He's repping Roundtable Sports merch. He's been a supporter of the AFC East Roundtable since the beginning. I mean, you have the talent to do it, Connor. You have the talent.
Thank you. I appreciate it, James. Really, really means a lot.
Thank you, James. Appreciate you tuning in, bro. Marco asked, do you think Breece gets an extension this year? I think he's eligible after the season. I'm going to say no, Marco. I think that Sauce will get an extension first out of anybody, out of the draft class. I think Breece is a sticky situation. I mean, selfishly, the answer is yes. The thing about Breece that we also need to realize is Breece is the only one of the main core that does not have the 5th-year option. So he's entering his final year next year. So he has 2 years on his contract. The other guys technically have 3 with the 5th-year option. So do you see the Jets extending Breece? Because now that I think about it, that should be a priority if he goes crazy this year.
I've said it for about 3 or so months now. Realistically, I think they get 2 out of the 4 back. Obviously, Brees, like you mentioned, scenario is a little dicey there, given he was a second-round pick, so he does not have the fifth-year option. When all's said and done, though, unfortunately, I think JJ and Brees walk, and the Jets sign Sauce and Garrett Wilson to an extension. I mean, Sauce is just, a franchise cornerstone type player you can't pass up on. I mean, he has a chance to set records for the current cornerback market right now in terms of what an extension for him could look like, along with Garrett Wilson, who, with Aaron Rodgers, I think he's going to have top 10, top 5 production this year. Obviously, I think the main thing that forces Brees to walk is just the running back market as a whole. And then JJ, I love JJ, but I'd say he's probably numero cuatro on that list out of all 4 of those guys. So I think it's Sauce and Garrett who come back in the green and white.
I agree. And then Jermaine is that guy that I really hope. I mean, I was so excited when we brought back or drafted Jermaine Johnson in the first place because he was a guy that I really, really wanted. We shall see. We got Best Jet going at it with there's a Giants and Jets debate right now in the chat. What's your thoughts of the Jets dominating the Giants in joint practice? Do you think that's something that we should really celebrate, or you think, it's joint practice? We don't want to be that fan base that's hyping up practice too much.
I think you have to make a balance of that. Obviously, everyone could jump to the conclusion, oh my God, the Giants are one of the worst teams in football. But if you look at the teams that have won the Super Bowl in the past years, you have to dominate those bad teams. And that's what the Jets did in the joint practice. Obviously, it's different. It's hard to judge, though, because obviously you have Aaron Rodgers in a red uniform, given that he can't be sacked. But I was there, and the offensive line honestly looked great. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had all day to throw before someone was in the backfield. I mean, offensive line looked great. The Jets team looked good as a whole. You have to celebrate those victories, and you're supposed to dominate bad teams like that. So, yeah, good win by the Jets for sure.
I mean, and then we have Giants fans like, but watch every play that Jets talk came out with, sack. Oh, the Jets didn't. Give me a break. Give me a break. What are we doing? It's practice. I get it, but this is something that Jets fans should be excited about. Sorry, Giants fans. Have fun with Malik Neighbors.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's all I really can say.
My favorite was, I think, the offensive linemen. I really enjoyed watching the offensive linemen versus defensive linemen individuals. Laval looked great. I think he's someone who Jet fans should watch. I think he's a very underrated option. Has experience playing all 5 spots on the line. He's looked great at guard. They put him at both guard positions throughout the preseason. He's looked great. Olu put Brian Burns on the floor. I mean, the offensive line looked great.
What's your thoughts of our offensive line? Not to we talked about it when we went live, but Colby took a shot from Patriots Global at our offensive line. It's a weakness. And I'm like, I know Jets fans, and Jets fans are hard on our offensive line. Every year we have a panic, and we are disgraceful. We're so upset with how bad our offensive line is. But that's not the consensus amongst Jets fans this season, because we looked at what we did, and we're like, bro, this Jets team, healthy on the offensive line, could be up there with the league's best. With the Tyron Smith generational left tackle, you bring in Simpson, you add Morgan Moses, a leap from Joe Tippmann. We all know who AVT is, and we have a first-round pick as a swing tackle. So what's your thoughts of the Jets' offensive line this season? Do you think they have what it takes to protect Rodgers and open up holes for our running backs?
Well, yeah, I'm going to start with, the floor and the ceiling kind of there. Obviously, they bring in John Simpson. You have Olu sitting behind. Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses couldn't have asked for a better situation for a player like Olu. I think the run blocking is going to be really, really good this year, just because obviously Simpson, who they brought in, has he's great against the run. Moses is great against the run. Smith is great against everything. So obviously you could count him in for run game. I think the pass blocking will hold. I think it could be like a top 12, top 15 unit. But in terms of run blocking, I think they have a ceiling of like top 8, top 5, something like that. I think this run blocking unit's going to be really good as spring Brees Hall free. We saw what Brees could do with a bottom, lower echelon offensive line. Now you give him an above average unit. He is going to have a monster year. I'm really excited to see what Brees could do. You mentioned Olu as the sixth man there. I think it is so important that we're getting him reps at both left and right tackle, because it is so important. Obviously Max Mitchell had a terrible year last year. Carter Warren, not great year. I think it's so important that obviously you see Tyron Smith, who hasn't played a fully healthy season since 2015. Morgan Moses has had his health issues. I think it's so important that Olu is the next man up, rather someone like Warren or Mitchell. I love that they're getting him reps at both left and right tackle. I hope he could be, what the Jet fans expected out of Billy Turner last year, but obviously they didn't get that. I'm just, I want Olu to be that next man up. He steps in whenever there's an injury.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. This offensive line has the potential, folks. It really, really does. So, guys, we have the Huddle, BetUS TV live at 3 o'clock. So we're going to enter the back end of the show, and I want to open this up to a Q&A. a call-in segment. So you guys can click the link at the top of the chat. We'll try to fire through some callers. We have Connor from NY Flight Jets Talk on the show right now. If you guys want to come on, ask myself and Connor a question, and then we'll wrap things up so I can get over to the show on BetUS TV. Let's bring in the first caller. We got Julio. What's good, Julio?
What up, Richie?
How you doing, bro?
Man, doing good. Ready to get this football going on.
Let's go. I love it. How you feeling?
Man, feeling good, feeling good. Hey, I got a question.
Let's hear it.
What's gonna happen with what's his name that came from the Eagles? I forgot his name already.
Hassan Reddick.
Yes.
I forgot his name too. Is he a Jet, Julio? Who is this guy?
I'm a Jet.
Yeah, right. Who is Hassan Reddick?
Man. Too many guys come to the team.
Yeah, listen, I wish I had an answer.
Devontae to the Man, I think that would be a great deal.
So you're asking if we should trade Reddick for Adams on the Raiders?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, all right, Julio. Great question. Appreciate the call, Julio. So I think
one more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing your hype video for 2024 Jets, we waiting on it.
In the works. I got someone editing
it
right now.
Asking for it.
Oh, is he?
All right.
He's asking for it?
Yeah, my kid's asking for it.
Oh, wow. Mine specifically or in general?
Yours specifically. He liked the last one that you did last year.
Oh, man. Yeah, so now there's pressure on me, Julio. I got to get your kid happy. All right. I'll let you know when it's out, Julio. I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. You have a
Tell
good
your
one.
kid I got it. Appreciate you, Julio. Shout out to Julio and Julio's kid. We actually have it in the works. Master at Work is editing it up this year for the Jets and all teams in the AFC East. So that's going to be a fun video to hype up Jets fans. So we're excited about that. And with the Hassan Reddick situation, man, it's just like, I don't know, Connor. I mean, it's just like, I'm just trying to forget about it. And then whenever it gets resolved, it gets resolved. But that's not healthy, is it?
You have to think the next man up mentality, though, when you really think about it. I mean, I think the good thing is we've seen players like Tack McKinley shine throughout training camp, and you just got to hope that could translate into the regular season if he's able to earn himself a roster spot. You have to hope Michael Clemens could do what he did his rookie year, where he is a rotational piece of the defense. But in terms of Jets trading Reddick to the Raiders, I believe it was, for Devontae Adams, he has no trade value right now. No team is going to want to pick up the Jets' problem. So obviously Devontae Adams would be great. Today I would accept that trade in a heartbeat, but no one is going to want to pick up a problem like Hassan Reddick. I think that's just what the reality is.
Cannot agree more. Don't worry, folks. Adams will be a Jet by the deadline when the Raiders inevitably fall and crumble. Sorry to man Graf Raider on the AFC West roundtable. Love you, man. Hope he's not watching. Bess is up next. What's up, Bess? Good to see you, bro.
What's up, Richie? What's up, man? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. How you doing, man?
Good, man. At work, but I just wanted to get on here to say, man, don't let up on TD. His nonsense is unreal, man. But you call him out every time because on his show, he speaks the truth. And then as soon as he gets on Roundtable or the Huddle, he starts talking about some blasphemy stuff. Come on, dude.
Because he can't keep a straight face and say the truth to me.
He's scared. That's all it is. It's pretty obvious. He knows what the Jets are going to be this year. And I'll even call it out with you. Jets are sweeping the Dolphins.
Ooh, Bess
They're
is
bringing
doubling
out
down.
the broom. It's not even going to be close.
Spam the brooms in the chat, folks. Bess
and then
is
he
doubling
needs to
down.
stop talking about that Aaron Rodgers getting hurt because Tua's in no better shape.
I know, right? He's just like
I don't like talking about things like that, but he needs to calm that down because after not last year, but the year before that, what happened to Tua? He needs to slow his roll.
Exactly. I think he's like, Tua was healthy all season long. He's injury prone. He's injury proof. Okay.
Because Aaron Rodgers is in the back end of his career. So if shit happens, it happens. Can't do nothing about it. He's at a certain age. But if something happens to Tua, his career is over.
And Bess, not even that. I mean, Tyrod Taylor is the Jets' backup quarterback, who, don't get me wrong, is a very, very serviceable backup quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. We finally have a quarterback. Like, we have quarterback depth finally.
Yeah,
right?
Finally. Mike White is the backup for the Dolphins, former Jet.
Yeah, I'm not
Mike
worried
White.
about that. The Jets' defense knows what to do with Mike White.
Yep.
Let him know, Bess.
Yeah.
Bess, appreciate you repping the Jets at work, by the way. I love that hat you got on backwards over there, repping the Jets at work. Appreciate you calling in, Bess. Hope to see you again soon, man.
Later, fellas.
Peace out. Great call from Bess. Great to have a Jets fan come on and say the Jets are sweeping those Dolphins, because I'm going to continuously say that, and TD couldn't believe it when I said it.
Yep,
So.
absolutely. Bring out the brooms. I do feel like the Jets will sweep the Dolphins. The only way I can see them possibly losing, actually no, I'm gonna come out and make a bold statement. I actually see the Jets losing to the Dolphins in Week 18 when the Jets have the division wrapped up and they rest all their starters in Miami, and Miami's still, climbing, and they lost the division already, and the Jets bench all their starters and go out and play the Dolphins in Week 18.
Connor is speaking nothing but the truth. I absolutely love it. Mutt Viles up next from work. Let's go. This is the second Jets fan calling in from work wearing a Jets hat.
What's up, Richie? What's up, Connor?
What's up,
hey,
bro?
Mutt Viles, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I like this kid Connor, though. This kid knows what he's talking about.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He knows exactly what he's talking about. The only thing I felt bad about, though, is that you have not seen postseason success yet. Last time I saw that, I was in middle school. But don't worry. You're going to see that, though, this year.
I hope so.
Really, with you, I don't know if you follow college, like you have like a favorite college team, whatever.
Yeah, Colorado.
What do you got?
Colorado.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Before or after Deion, real quick?
So my aunt and my grandma both went there, and they were bad for a long time. So when they got Deion, I started rooting for them. But I didn't
if you have family going there, you have every
Okay,
right to be there.
Yeah.
Every right to be a
That's all I
Colorado
need to
fan.
hear. That's all I need. Me, I'm a Clemson Tiger fan. My father, he was born and raised down the South, and he's gone to all their games, so that's how I became that. But that's off the topic of my question. What do you think of Jordan Travis, though? What do you think he's going to be when Rodgers is done? Because to me, the perfect scenario is when Rodgers is done in 2 years, this kid shows up. You were saying before we can only keep 2 out of the 4 from the core. I think we can keep all 4 of them if Jordan Travis comes out.
Jordan Travis, obviously a day 3 pick. He would have been a one, two, possibly 2, something in that range before that injury, that leg injury. That was a massive injury. He was great in college, though. Before that, I think he's probably like a career backup. I could see him maybe doing something like Tyrod Taylor, where he's like a fringe backup / starter, where he's, obviously Tyrod Taylor, right? in the 20 echelon, but playing as a backup. I compare him, maybe do something similar to Tyrod Taylor. I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback, though. Obviously, he had success in college, but it's like if you're going off what Zach Wilson did in college, he would have been a top 5, top 10 quarterback in football. If you look at some of the plays he made throughout his college career, it's tough to judge off that. Kind of sucks that he's in for probably a full redshirt season. I wish we were, able to see him at least through the preseason. That would give me, a bit of a better judgment, even though it's against backups and stuff. Would have given me, how do I like him? Obviously, you can only judge off college stats before he broke his leg, which is a massive injury. So it's really tough to judge that. But if I had to, I'd go career backup.
He's the future franchise QB, Mutt Viles. I'm putting the bias cap, putting the delusional cap on. He is going to be our quarterback for the next 20 years. Mutt Viles, I appreciate you as always, bro. I'll see you at Jets Media Day, brother. Let's go. All right, folks. So just to be transparent with you guys, we have in 10 minutes, well, less than 10 minutes that I got to go to, and we have a lot of people backstage. So I would love to get to every single one of your guys' call, but we do got to get through them fast because I want to make sure we get through them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you guys backstage. So we got to get through them all. I do have to go to get on the huddle, which is my daily show at 3 o'clock. So let's fire through these. Let's just ask a question, and then we'll get to the next one. My apologies for jamming it all in, but Connor is here, and the people want to talk to you, Connor. It's not about me right now. I promise you, nobody's clicking the link to talk to me. It's to talk to you. I promise you that. We got K-Brock, the Jets fan, up next, rocking the Garrett Wilson fresh jersey. What's good, K-Brock?
Yeah, jersey just came in today.
Look at that.
Right
Perfect
out of the
timing.
wrapper.
Perfect
I was
timing.
wondering, do you guys actually think Hassan Reddick's going to show up?
No.
My mindset is no, and then if he shows up, hooray.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Is he going to? You think he's going to sit out like the entire season?
I mean,
I
he
don't know
has
about the
no
entire
leverage.
season. He has no leverage.
Yeah, he does
The
nothing.
Jets still. It's not like he's a free agent after the year. He has to keep that in mind as well. Like the Jets still have his rights for next year. It's.
If he
I
sits
definitely.
out through the first 6 games, we have his rights next year, and I guarantee you he's not going to want to do that. We saw something that like September 12th, September 2nd, September 3rd is when the pressure is really going to be on Reddick because that's where the holdouts gets really interesting, where the fines are going to be ridiculous. So we shall see. But as of right now, I'm just operating with Jermaine and Clemens and those boys. So K-Brock, appreciate the call, my man.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the
Have a good
next
one,
call. I
guys.
appreciate you, brother.
even just really quick, even if Reddick was to report before the season starts, it's been so late. He's missed this much time, the preseason camp, everything. Hasn't even gotten to know his teammates. If he even reported for week 1, I don't think he'd be a rotational guy. I think he'd just be like a situational player. He hasn't gotten to know his teammates' system, whatever. So whatever it is, it's not great.
Couldn't agree more. We got JT up next. JT, what you got real quick?
Yo,
What's good, bro?
what's up? Yo, Connor, Richie, I love you guys' content. You
Thank
guys are
you, I
great.
appreciate it.
Connor, you are a rising star, brother.
I appreciate
I
it.
just want to spread some hype since we don't have a lot of time. We're gonna win week 1. We're going 14-3. We're making it to the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Wow.
Jets, 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 Jets. I'll see you week 6 and in the huddle, brother.
My man JT, man. JT's everywhere. He's in Jets Media Lives. He's in the huddle. He's in the roundtable. He's coming to the events. JT, man. Can't thank you enough, brother. Can't thank you enough for everything that you do. Guys, we're going to need a call to be that quick because the huddle's calling me right now. They need me backstage. All right, so we're going to have to get through these last 3 very fast. Lisselle, quick question.
Okay, quick question. What's our underrated strength on the team?
Underrated strength. What a great question. Lisselle, thank you so much for the call. Underrated strength is offensive line. How about that, Connor?
Yeah, I like that pick, and possibly tight end room. I know people have been hating on the tight end room so much, but Tyler Conklin, I think, is in for a career year. You could go offensive line, too.
JT says safety.
I'm concerned about the safety room. Chuck Clark is in line to start. He hasn't played a full season since 2020, 2 years ago. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned there, if I'm being quite honest.
Great question from our boy, Lisselle. Sean is up next. Sean, you have a quick question.
It's not a question, it's just a statement. We're going undefeated and we're winning the Super Bowl and we're going to this playoffs for the first time since I was 3 years old.
Let's go. I mean, Sean, Jets are going to win this Super Bowl. We didn't need a question. He just needed to come on to let Jets fans know what the heck is going on. So, Sean, thank you so much for all the support that you're showing on Jets Media, man. Really do appreciate you. And last but not least, who better to finish off the show? Bobby Midnight.
Hey, how you doing,
Bobby!
Hey, Bobby.
Jets are going 12-5. They're going to beat the 49ers opening night. They're going to spank that little boy's butt. They're going to sack him. They're going to sack him 6 times, interception 3 times. They're going to win, I want to say, 31-17.
Wow.
That's my prediction of that smelly team. McCaffrey's not going to be playing.
Bobby Midnight with the bold. I love it. Bobby, thank you so much for the
I
call.
called it to talk to you too, not just Connor. You too.
Wow. I'm flattered, Bobby. It's not
Hey,
just
where's your partner from the other time? What's his name?
Jack?
The other partner. Yeah, where's he?
Yeah, I got to get him on. He's slacking, right? He's so immersed in his music world, so I got to get him
he's
on.
into the music world. Well, you know.
Well, he's a musician. That's what he does full time.
Tell him. Oh, okay. Well, tell him. I hope he.
I'll tell him that Bobby Midnight wants you back.
And you
I'll tell
got
him
to
that.
do a show with the Finns guy.
Oh yeah, we got it in 5 minutes.
Is it? Can you call into that show?
That one, no, but on the AFC East Roundtable, you can. Yes.
Okay, I want to give that guy a earful.
A piece of your. Oh, I will, Bobby.
He just
Appreciate
got a
you,
big
man.
mouth. I think he got a big mouth.
He does. TD Finstock is a big mouth. I'm happy that Connor was able to ground him on this
Yep.
show. Well, Connor, I appreciate you big time for coming on. Guys, if you want to pull up to the huddle, it is going to be live now. All right, so you see it on your screen right here. I'm going to put the link. If you guys want to pull up, it's me, Dan Mitchell, and TD Fins Talk. We're going to be live in less than 5 minutes. Just got to find our chat so I can put the link. If you guys want to go follow me over there. NFL preseason week 3. And I'll see you guys over there. Connor, any last words before we wrap things up?
Just really appreciate you having me, Richie. Always a blast talking Jets, and we'll definitely get you on my show sometime soon.
Guys, go support Connor's YouTube channel.
Thank
Just
you.
hit 1,000 subs, and I'll be featured on his channel when we can figure out a time that works out for both of us. Thank you, Connor, for joining. Everybody hit the like button and subscribe, not to me, to Connor. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you on the huddle. Peace.